Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about DLC and the future content for Bannerlord. Now, some of you may be playing Bannerlord on the 24th or 25th. I've heard mixed release dates at this point, depending on your time zone. But anyway, I think a lot of players are going to be interested in what's coming in the future, especially after you've sunk your entire week into the game, and I know a lot of you will be. Now, one last thing before I start, and this is a big one. Take everything I say going forward with a huge bucket of salt. Nothing is confirmed, and everything is speculation with some reasoning why I think they could be potential avenues for the game's expansion. Now, with that being said, there's two types of DLCs we can expect. The first one are base game additions. So in Warband, the first official DLC was, and I'm not joking, Swadian horse armor. Exactly what you're thinking of, from Oblivion. And it did come with a few multiplayer maps though. This did get changed to a free downloadable content for the obvious backlash it would have received. And the second type of DLC will be standalone expansions, so such as with Fire and Sword. Now, I have no preference, of either type of DLC. In fact, I hope we get a mix of both. But with the base game needing some more features, especially in the late game, as some of you will find out, I hope we are going to be getting expansions there. Now, I want to talk about this map. Jackie Fish used this as his thumbnail, but sadly a map expansion on this scale is not coming. This is just way too big. This was just a mesh for the world map, and it was used to develop ideas for the base game map, as said by Callum from Tailworlds. You can actually see the islands from this map if you pan your camera to the edge of the world. Like, you can't just about see them. I know in PC you can unlock the camera and pan around a bit more, but it's not going to be this big, guys, if they did it this way. But if there was a map expansion, it's more likely to be expanded around these islands as additional ship DLC. Now, keep in mind again, this is just me saying this. There's nothing backing this up. In fact, developers have actually said they've never done ship DLC, even though they have two titles with it. Because this was something that has been done in the Warband engine as both the Viking Conquest DLC and the Caribbean standalone game, the Sid Meier's Pirates clone. So the ideas of ships being introduced isn't far-fetched, and with Raiden being such an appealing game style and Vikings being such a high selling point, it's one of those DLCs which I think is quite easy for Tailworlds to do if they wanted. Now, we also have the Elephant DLC, which is also something I've covered on this channel before, which was leaked. So we could expect elephants at one point as well. And war dogs, that was another thing that was shown. I won't go into too much of this as I have done its own video, but it is something to keep in mind. But this does lead into the cultures in the game files already. So we do currently have the Nord culture, so that, does kind of lean into being able to become Vikings at some point. So the idea of building DLCs, around cultures is also yet another avenue they can go. So as we can see here in the encyclopedia in the game, they could potentially make DLC for the Vakan or the Darshi peoples with new troop trees and units, maybe new cities and castles and towns, which would be quite interesting. Add some more, just more interesting starts into the game, new bonuses and such. None of this, all of this stuff will be more welcome into the game. So, I've spoken about feasts before on this channel, but it's, certainly worth bringing up again, as it's officially not in the base game, and it is possible to add as a modder named Block added feasts as a mod. However, from what I understand with Tailworlds, they didn't want to add it as it'll mess with the balance the game currently has, which took them months it did of balancing to achieve, and that was with a lot of community help giving feedback. So what would usually happen is one faction would dominate too quick, or factions would die off too fast. Yeah, but so they do have the balance right now, so I guess they are afraid to mess with that. But it would be nice to expect some sort of social DLC, you know, as an expansion into family gameplay. Would be nice, as, you know, to be able to retire your character, as, you know, at the moment you have to play for like 50 years until your character dies, and then you can actually switch over to a new character. Because I have played games, you know, thousands of days into the game, and I kind of just wanted to start with a new character but stay in the world, and I couldn't do anything until my own character died. Now, on PC, I'm able to use console commands just to kill my character off and such. But for console players, you're just going to have to wait in-game years just to play as your A. Or with death enabled, you might die lucky in a battle if you were aiming for that. But yeah, so it would be nice to get an expansion on that. So another third type of DLC they could release is Napoleonic Wars. This was by far Tale-World's most successful DLC. This was multiplayer only, and it was an absolute blast, and after its success, I see no reason why Tale-Worlds wouldn't look into making this for Bannerlord. And oh Jesus, the multiplayer community really needs something to help it out. Now, there is a mod in development called Sword and Musket, which is making the mod, and it's looking fantastic. With Warband, this mod was released, and then Tale-Worlds made the DLC later down the line. So hopefully history will repeat itself here, and even console players will be able to join in on the fun. So that's all for today, guys. Wanted to keep this short and sweet and deliver as much content without any filler in between to get you guys up to speed on what content we can expect post-release. Let me know how I did or what I missed, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.